Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Killmonger, issue number 4 of 5. All right, so we got one more issue to go after this. In the meantime, this issue it got deep. There was a moment in here where I actually had to put down the comic book and rethink my life. Not quite so dramatic, but I legitimately did put down the comic book and start thinking of a way to argue, either for or against what was said in here. It was a moment. All right, let's get into this. This is Killmonger by Any Means, part 4 of 5. Writer Brian Hill, art and cover Juan Ferreira. VC's Joe Sabino did the letters, and the color assists were by Eduardo Ferreira. So we got a brother combination here, cousin. I don't know. There are no familial ties actually mentioned in the comic book. Logo Adam Del Rey, and boom, shakalaka. So we get the Black Widow talking to Queen, and I don't remember her actual name. I don't think it was reminded to us in this, but basically she's Queen, and she's trying to work out the best deal that she can with Black Widow. The problem is she's trying to make a deal with the damn Black Widow, and that just ain't gonna happen. Black Widow does not talk to you until she's got all the information. She also usually doesn't kick your ass until she's got all the information. So, if she's talking to you as opposed to beating you up, there's a good chance that she either likes you or still has one more question. So play your cards right, just saying. The Queen, in the meantime, she really doesn't come off as particularly wise, but she is very intelligent. So Curse of Youth, if you don't mind me quoting. I can't remember where I'm quoting that from. Anyway, everybody's got a plan. Every single person's got a plan. And, like the old saying, when you have a plan, God laughs. You know what I'm saying? There's no God here. Okay, there's no God here. Oh, okay, I shouldn't say that because God does show up. Yeah, that happens. And it's not Bast. but there's some laughter going on here because everybody's got their own plan. Black Widow wants the king, and the king don't want nothing to do with S.H.I.E.L.D., which is interesting. Again, mind you, this comic book is not in any sort of continuity. I say that almost every single time that I review this comic book. I still have somebody says, well, this doesn't match with continuity. Yeah, because the comic book isn't in continuity. It's not quite the movie verse. It's not quite the comic book verse. It's something different. So, you know what? I got to make sure that when I do my Marvel... There's a site that I do, the Marvel fan database. It's actually pretty big. It's pretty big. It's about as big as Wiki, as far as comic books are concerned. It's a Wikia page. Anyhow, got to make sure that it's pointed out that this is not in the Earth 616 universe. This is something entirely different. And we actually needed a title for this because, yeah. Anyhow, so what have you? They Killmonger and the Queen are going to go and visit the king in his snowy abode. All right, it's kind of like Hawkeye's place in the movieverse. My wife is in here. You got a wife? Yeah, I got a wife. What's up with that? I didn't know he had a wife. Well, apparently he's got a wife. I love that. It was a very small exchange, but it was awesome. They need Black Widow wants the king. And I imagine she wants the king because she's trying to get to Kingpin. So the king doesn't actually want to go. He's like, no, I'm going to do this thing on my own. Killmonger, Eric, he's more about, I hear you. You want to go on your own. So go on your own, by all means. I'm here more than anything else just to warn you. He thought that's what the Queen was here for also. We don't know what the hell the Queen actually wants. We have no freaking idea what the Queen actually wants. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. She's antsy, she's nervous, she's jumping the gun, she just does really dumb things in here. She does a really dumb move. What do you call it? Enjikata is thinking, that Eric Killmonger is thinking, hey, listen, me and the Queen, we're going to go off to Wakanda, and we're going to be safe out there. And yeah, for the most part, they're going to be safe from everything but Wakanda. But Wakanda usually takes care of their own. I have a new respect for that idea because of this. There's a point in here where, oh, and mind you, the queen says that she's going to go to Wakanda. She actually has no interest in going to Wakanda whatsoever. This fantasy land. No, she's got no interest in looking up for the plane, boss, the plane. No, she's got no interest in that whatsoever. She's more interested in the idea of, I'm going to go and do my own thing. Eric, if you want to do that, fine. If you want to come with me, fine. But, like, I'm not going to freaking Wakanda. I'm not going to this pie in the sky. Yes, I said that on purpose. Mentality that it just doesn't work for me, because that's not the life that she knows. And I feel like she's more interested in the things that she knows, the things that she's familiar with, the things that she can at least relate to. This actually reminds me a lot of a moment on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV series, where I forget exactly who it was. But anyway, somebody, actually, I just can't remember her name right now. Anyway, she says to Phil Coulson, you're more likely to, your escape plan probably involves you going to Lima. And he's like he jumps back. It's like, holy crap, you just gave away your hand, dude. I thought you were better than that. Level 8, man. Level 8. So she's like, yeah, well, I mean, you speak the language. Your dialect is perfect for there. And it's, the perfect remote getaway for you to go down there and enjoy a really beautiful life. Like, it was an awesome moment. It's like, if you know enough about a person, you know where they're likely to bug out to. In this particular case, we don't know enough about the Queen, but we do know that she's not going to go to some place that she's not familiar with, and Wakanda is just a pipe dream for her. And Jakarta, no, it's paradise, and yeah, it probably would be. At one point, it doesn't feel like a perfect flow how the king and Jakarta are talking, but at one point, and I want to get the quote. I want to actually quote it because it's perfect. This is the scene that actually made me stop, and I had to put the comic book down. I can't beat this. I can't beat you and this damn tree at the same time. Well, and Jakarta says, well, then forget the tree. Forget the tree and let's make a plan. Wakanda is the only place Knight and I can go. You're white. You have Wakandas all over the world. Social commentary. The idea of having a place where people can go, the whole Back to Africa movement, was a really great dream that Alex Haley and others had until they actually went and visited, because it's not the life that they know. It's not the life that any of us know. Jesus, I've been to a part of Africa. You know what I'm saying? I've been to Tunis. I've been to Egypt. You know what I'm saying? I've been there, but that's not Africa in general. My wife is from Somalia. But the parts of Africa, actually, she's been to Egypt also. But like, as far as like Tunis or Central or other parts of the more Western Africa, Senegal area, or God forbid, Southern Africa, South Africa, of all things, Zimbabwe, Mauritania, any of those places, they're all different. A lot of people think, on the surface, we want to sit here and say, oh, yeah, America, there's America. Which part of America, man? You're not going to compare the Gumbo, Louisiana area with the Texas, hey, y'all kind of area with the Mississippi, y'all kind of area, or the California, dude, area, or the, or the New Jersey, how you doing, area. Like, you're not gonna confuse all these different areas, and I could go on and on and on, and this, man. This. So African itself, it's not a plausible go back to where you came from area. Plus, as a part Cherokee, I'm always happy to help anybody pack who wants to talk about go back to where you came from. Anybody, by all means. You know what I'm saying? Because most of you all aren't native. So First Nations represent, baby. But for me, when he said, you're white, you've got Wakandas all over the world. Dude, no, there's no place in the world like Wakanda, including Wakanda. But in the Marvel Universe, yeah, there's still no place really like Wakanda, right? But even if you say all of Black Wakanda is in Wakanda, and all of white Wakanda is disseminated unevenly around the world, that still counts. It still matters. And I am using Wakanda in the way that we use Mecca. All right. I've actually been to Mecca I've been to actual Mecca in Saudi Arabia before. Very impressive memories. But I could say that, whenever I hear somebody saying, oh, New York is like the Mecca of the world, I have to laugh because I say, no, jackass. Mecca is the Mecca of the world because Mecca still exists. Mecca isn't the Mecca of the Muslims. Mecca is Mecca. But if we are going to use it in that term, like and Jakarta is using it here, yeah, America can be the Wakanda for white people. You know what I'm saying? It's a moment where if you're not stopping to think about how profound that statement is, you can't comic book. And you could take that statement to the bank. All right? That is, like, forget about the social element of that. Seriously, if you need to take yourself out of the social element of that and only look at this in the comic book world, you understand comic books just a little bit better. Because Wakanda is a major element in comic books, especially today. You know what I'm saying? That was such a... I feel like all 5 issues of this comic book could have been made just for that one statement to have been made. That was profound. And moving on from there. From this point on, things get crazy. And one of my favorite elements from this issue, and probably in all of Marvel characters, I'm kind of hoping that the King makes it out of this. I would love to see somebody... I mean, if this is the last year, the final year that freaking, Brian Hill is going to be making comic books, well then, fine, leave us, abandon us, god damn it. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind seeing him making a King story. Because we're used to seeing Magneto and Polaris and, all the others that you can name wielding exponentially beyond levels, infinitum levels of magnetic control. I'm going to reverse the polar curves. Boop. Okay, I did it. I'm going to summon Asteroid M. Okay, it's done. Like, you barely have to you're lifting your hands because, you want the flavorful element. The artist needs something to do. But realistically, for Magneto in the Ultimate Universe, granted, to just be able to say, I must change the polarity of the polar ice caps. Okay, it's done. Like, dude, I see you moving things and you don't have to use your hands. Like, and you just, really? Really? So, seeing this much weaker version of a character who can use a lesser form of magnetic manipulation was really awesome. I wanted them to go into it more. There's the part where he has the axe, because he's got, the metal axe head, and the wooden handle, and he's just got it, and it's like, okay, it's hovering there waiting for him while he pulls out his pistol. He's pow, 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 pow. I would have kind of liked to see something from, like, out of Wanted. Y'all remember Wanted, that movie? That was badass, where it's like, all right, bend the bullet. Here's the gun. Oh, I've got a toy gun right here. Of course I do. I've got kids. And it's just like, ha! And the bullet's like, pew, and it goes around and gets somebody. That's what I'm talking about. So, like, I would have loved to see some bending of the bullet action, and, it's like, he hit every single time, because he bended the bullet. He made the bullet, pew, go all over. It's like, all I gotta do is shoot the gun, pow, 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 and the bullet's just, start veering right towards you. I would love to see that, but what we did see is he gets the axe. I don't have a toy axe. I got my son's practice guitar. I sometimes call the guitar an axe, but I usually only play electric, so we don't call them axes. But you get the point, all right? He's got the axe, and he's like, he jumps in the air, and then the axe, he's like, and the axe comes to his hand, and he, like, lands and throws the axe, and there's a whole lot, and the people, when they get hit with the axe, are like, and there's a whole lot of uhs there, okay? Non-orgasmic uhs. And it was effing awesome. You remember, which X-Men movie was it? I think it was X-Men, the New Beginning one, whatever, the First Class, X-Men First Class. That was a badass version of Magneto who didn't have full control over his powers. And he's just like, here's with the coin. Yeah, slowly going into your brain. And he's got the daggers, the little knives. And he's like, and they're like, killing people. That was freaking cool. That was cool as hell. Guess what we just got in here? I loved this action scene, this fight scene. This was badass, man. And it happens, get this, in the middle of the comic book. You want to know what happens in the rest of the comic book? Yeah, was there like a $3.99 price tag on it? Yeah, and then you're fine. $3.99, baby. This was a badass comic book. The way that it ended, holy crap. You know what? We need a reminder mention in here, okay? Adam Del Rey did the logo, sorry. Juan Ferreira, dude, you are a badass mamma jamma. The art in here was awesome. The last page, those, what was it, 2 or 3 panels? I think it was 3 panels. Those last, 2 panels. I mean, there was more than that. There was definitely a lot more than that. But these last panels, holy crap. I would show you. I'd rather you go buy the comic book and look for yourself. Yo, support good artists, man. Support good writers. Support good comic books. This doesn't deserve to be forgotten. I can't wait to see what happens in issue 4, and I hope that it leads to one of those things where it's like, oh, ambiguous ending, we can continue. Like I said, this should definitely, the King character should not end at this point. At the very least, even if he does, and he ends in the comic book, in this comic book, this isn't Earth 616, people. So we can actually all of a sudden have the King appears in Earth 616. Oh, badass. And I would love to see a character written and drawn like that. That would be awesome. And I'm just saying, we got a team who could. All right, I'm done. All right, enough with the short stories. Let's get it on going, because that would be badass. All right, we're going on from here. I got more comic books to read. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.